I wanted to give you a little bit of background about how recording sessions generally work. And many of you probably know, but just in case, I thought I would fill in some details. To record a 60-minute CD for commercial release usually takes about 3 days of sessions. And during those 3 days, we work anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day, depending on the complexity of the repertoire and other factors that we may be dealing with, such as outside noise or building scheduling or things like that. Over the course of those 3 days, we record probably anywhere between 15 and 25 hours worth of material that I then go back to the studio and edit and sort through in order to create the best performance using all of that raw material. And I know you might be saying, well, that's cheating. Why does it take so long? The demands of the commercial industry are such that, and especially in the digital age, when all of this material can be repeated and copied ad nauseum and sent all around the world, and we have to assume that it will live forever, that this digital information will not go away. In our world, the marketplace really sort of demands perfection, and that's a challenge for us. And you might say, well, when I go and hear any performer play, they sound incredible from beginning to end. But I think we have to understand that the experience of a recording, listening to a recording, is vastly different than the experience of listening to a live concert. The brain is extraordinarily powerful. And the visual aspect during the concert colors your perception of the recording itself much more than I think people actually realize. For an interesting example of this, go to YouTube and look for videos on something called the McGurk effect, where they do different syllables but show you different pictures. Actually, they do the same syllable, show you different video clips, and it totally changes your perception of the sound. When people listen to a commercial recording, they may not have any other stimuli. It may just be the music that they're concentrating on. So their awareness of that sound, of that performance, and all the details within that performance, intonation, ensemble, those sorts of details, is much heightened. When you're in a concert hall, there's a lot of stimuli. There's a visual of the players. And we know for fact, using research, that the brain reacts very strongly to what they see on the stage. If you see a musician expressing intensity in their face, playing and they're digging in, the same centers in your brain will actually light up. So you feel that intensity also. That enhances your listening experience. That, of course, doesn't happen in a CD recording. So we have to treat the processes differently. However, as you can imagine, 8 hours of recording a day over 3 days is an artificial process for musicians. I do believe it allows them to take some chances that they otherwise may not take. Playing faster, playing louder, even playing softer is my favorite kind of chance to take, actually. It allows these chances to happen because we can fix them if they go wrong. But there's still sort of an artificial energy that exists there. As a producer, that's one of my jobs, is to work hard to overcome that artificialness and create a great performance. But as a musician, it's really hard work. It's difficult. So when this idea came up, the Brentanos, I don't think, love recording sessions, actually. And I think they would much prefer to do live recordings. So I was excited when they worked with Jenny Kalick at Amherst to figure out a way to make a commercial recording of live performances. The reason that this is so unusual is that one live performance captured in a recording is guaranteed to have musical issues and or audience issues. There could be a siren, there could be a cough. But regardless of how exhilarating a performance is, when you hear it as a CD, you hear flaws in there. And I always challenge my students when I'm teaching them about recording and editing for the first time. Most of them are college students, 18 or 19 years old. I say, okay, you've been reading now for, let's hope, 12, 13 years at this point in your life. I want you to take this page in the newspaper and I want you to read this article expressively, interestingly, from beginning to end. And even though we all are probably fantastic readers, invariably they trip over a word. And you can try the same thing at home. It's not easy to do. And if you get it perfect, chances are you're probably holding back a little bit. You're trying not to make a mistake. And that's exactly what we don't want in a recording. We want energy and abandon. So what the Brentanos and Jenny and Amherst have dreamed up is a way to do 3 recordings of a live performance. And then I can use all of that material to assemble a really great final product. And all the material is coming from the live portions of the recording. Why is this rare? Well, presenters usually don't get an opportunity to offer 3 performances 3 nights in a row in the same venue, which is what it takes for the sound to match, for the energies to at least be somewhat in the same ballpark. It's not necessarily a viable business model for a presenter to do that, but Jenny's worked out this model in this case that makes this all possible for us. So that's really an exciting thing. A chamber music live recording is a rarity, and I'm going to be fascinated by it. I think that as an audience member, you may say, well, I wouldn't want to go hear the same piece 3 nights in a row, but it could be a really fascinating study in how the same 4 people, how their interpretation changes. It could be dependent on mood. It could be dependent on temperature. It could be dependent on what they did or didn't eat before the concert. All of these things influence how things happen in the moment. And I'm really excited to hear a world-class group like the Brentanos perform the same piece 3 times in a row and see what kind of magic happens on a night like that. I think that this is an extremely rare and unique opportunity for an audience member.